Welcome, foolish mortals. This is a live stream going out. Not many people may join us, but for those of you who pop in, welcome. What we're going to be doing is I got a mail call today, over the last few days actually, of some large non-sports cards and autographs and Peiceworks that I won lots of and things like that on eBay. So got a whole bunch of those in, and we're going to open them up individually, see what we got, and then chit chat for a little while. Probably hang out just for about an hour or so, because I know everybody's got. I'm not sure if there's a wrestling thing on tonight. I can never keep track of all those things. But if you're tuning in, thanks for joining. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Subscribe down at the bottom, hit like, hit the bell so that you get notifications of when I try and do these things off and on. So, first thing, guess we'll go ahead and open up a couple quick things. Small stuff first. This is the Tatiana card, Tatiana's Hot Sauce, for the Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom game. This is a game you actually play at the parks. You can go up to certain window displays, and they have animation, and you have you're trying to defeat Hades, who's trying to get a power stone. And so something will happen, and you show the card to the window, and it will activate a spell. This is Tatiana's Hot Sauce. You get a 3-point gross attack, a boost, and a shield. So I haven't actually seen this card work. I'm taking these with me when we go to Disney World this coming Christmas. So getting closer and closer to a full set now. I'm going to do a video on these when I do actually get a complete set. It's actually hard to get several of the cards at the very end because you can only get them at the park. So next up is a small little envelope. The gentleman I get these from is oh yeah? Oh, cool, Bert. Yeah, I'm looking. I need. No, I've got Tatiana, who is card 60. I need. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. I need 61 through 70, actually. Hey, WWE Figs, how's it going? So, Bert, I'll send you off a little note. If you've got any of those extra, it'd be great. I'm also trying to find any of the Halloween or cards that they did, too. So, get this little guy open. This looks like it's got at least some Star Trek autographs in it. I love people who pack things really great, but then, you know, these things clip shut. They don't need to be taped as well. Day was pretty good, actually. I guess the game is ending, so I don't know if they're going to dump all these cards on the market or what's going on. Hey, Downfall, how's it going? Did you ever get back to class, or did you stay with Starfall forever? Yeah, I got William Knight, who played Crewman Moody in The Naked Time. Gene Dozarak from Mud's Women. They don't show it very well. Michael Pollard from Mira. These are all classic Trek. William Campbell, who played Koloth. These were early cards in the early Skybox series that I really needed. What time are you? Or what time's that going to be, Downfall? And then one last one. These are I probably want a few of these. These are. Oh, if I can get them to show up better. These are called bench warmers. They're just kind of ladies in scantily clad outfits. But okay, cool, Downfall. I plan on staying on for about an hour, and so then I can pop right over to see you guys. Next up is another little envelope. Yes, it is from Civil War. I found that one and the Iron Man Mark 46 in a box. I didn't even know I'd bought them. But yeah, I got those. So those are the only two I know I own. I might actually own more. That kind of is how my collection is. If you follow the Mystery Box Mondays I do, I find weird stuff in boxes I didn't even know I had. Boy, this is really taped in here good. Oh, this is another one of the ones I needed. This was a not so scary Halloween party card for the Disney set. It's a yellow, the orange bird. So I forgot I even won that. Get that trash out of the way. One more envelope before we start moving to boxes. Oh, no, wait. I already did that one, so that's empty. So I've got this small box that should have some decent stuff in it. Bert, if you're still here, how's the family? Okay. Boxes within boxes. Looks like I got a partial box of Angry Birds collectible cards. They come 7 cards to a pack with 180 cards. Jeez, that's a lot of Angry Birds. But it'll give me something to sort. And let's see what's in here. Is that Electro on the throwback cards or in the Legends packaging? I love that throwback packaging. Of course, I have most of those figures from Toy Biz on normal Toy Biz cards from back in the day, but I do like seeing them, and I still need to pick up that. I need the J. Jonah Jameson if I ever run into him again. Okay, in this box was a set of Star Trek Discovery Season 2 cards. There's 6 or so cards based on each episode. Covers all of Season 2. That was awesome. I'm really hoping that when with the new movie, since all the other Spider-Men are coming back, that somehow we get both J. Jonah Jamesons back together. That would just, that'd be awesome. It would be hilariously awesome. Looks like I got a few in this little lot. I got a few Next Generation Star Trek cards. This is Gary Vetterman from Times Squared. I gotta figure out how to get this to show better. Mark Taylor from Hayloft, and Seth Mendoza from The Price. He actually just passed away recently. And then, let's see, here's another Trek. This is Nostalgia Nordic from The Preemptive Strike. And boy, these are kind of mixed. Eve Brenner from Violations. She did pass away about a week ago. Boy, there's a lot of Trek cards in here. Nicholas Meyer from Redemption. Steven Anderson from First Contact. Let's see. Nope, more. Jeez. This is John Fleck from The Mind's Eye. This is Brian Boswell from Firstborn. He played Alexander, who was Worf's son. He was also in Family Ties. Michael Schneider from The Perfect Mate. Barbara Toduk from The Host. Yeah, there's a lot of Trek in here. I do have. Hey, John, how you doing? I'm just going through some of these lots I won. I've got quite a few Next Generation autographs in these, which could fill some nice holes in my collection. This is Joshua Harris. This is Timothy from Hero Worship. Katie Cullum from Redemption. And William Lithgow from Inheritance. Oh, geez, there's more. Boy, there really are a lot of Treks in this. Ellen Gear from the Silicon Avatar. Jesse Lawrence Ferguson from the Code of Honor. Ben Lemon from Violations. And Jeffrey Hagnina from Ensign Row. Hopefully that's the end of those. Okay, then I got some, looks like an insert set from James Bond. This is Roger Moore. Jeez. Don't get old. It hurts. Man with the Golden Gun from Live and Let Die. Sean Connery from Diamonds Are Forever. And from Thunderball. And from You Only Live Twice. This outfit was horrible. He was trying to go undercover as a Asian man. A giant Scotsman. Well, I guess it's not so bad when he tried to play an Egyptian in Highlander. This is George Lazenby from On Her Majesty's Secret Service. More Sean Connery. Yeah, John, my brain skipped. I could not remember him for the life of me. And another Sean Connery. The rest looks like they are more bench warmers. This is Jessica Hall. Angela Fong. Let's see if I can get these to focus better. If I put it in front of my face, that will help. You don't want to see me anyway. Buffy Taylor. Hey, Sleeping, what's up? Just ran into some Benchwarmers cards in these collection. This thing I got. Brittany Lauren. Brandy Grace. Laura Peterson. Desiree Minchin. And Juliana Prada. So it looks like most of this lot, which it was only $40, so I got quite a lot of great Star Trek autographs, and yeah, the Benchwarmers. I don't know who any of these Benchwarmers girls are. I randomly get a whole bunch of these. They're very pretty, but I don't know who they are. If they're just models and they don't actually say. What's nice is, well, it depends on your point of view. On the front of the card is the autograph and a picture of the lady, and then on the back is the back. So young children, avert your eyes for the bench warmers. Next up, let's see what is in this thing. Yeah, it really was. Let me see how I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I got 18 Star Trek autographs. So it's not too bad. Meh. I have guns. You can come and try and rob me. Those I won't show on camera. But yes, thank you for reminding me. And hey, Mario Plush, how you doing? I live in Colorado. We are always prepared for the next apocalypse. Because if you've seen the stand, sometimes they start here. Okay, let's see. Stiff. Okay, cool. These are actually a couple binders that I got for some sets. The first one is for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's for the Season 1 cards, but it's actually thick enough that I'm going to be able to put all of them in there. I may actually have may put all my Marvel autographs in here. I have quite a few of those. Oh, that's cool. And he was nice enough to send along a promo card for the set. Coulson and May. I do have that set, and I do have a few autographs from it, so that'll be cool. And then the other one I got I need to pick up the last series of the S.H.I.E.L.D. cards. As soon as they moved over to Upper Deck, I wasn't invested anymore. I support Rittenhouse. I love them. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Oh, cool. Oh, that was nice. Okay, so this is actually going to be somewhat difficult, maybe. We'll see. Okay, so well, he was nice enough to put all the other cards I won in here, but they also started falling out in transit. So I got Twin Peaks Archives cards binder. This was made by Rittenhouse for the cards. They did cards based on the Classic series and the Reboot series that came out a few years ago. And then I won a whole bunch of cards from it as well. So this is Nando. She is from the new series, I think. And then Stans Nar from Game of Thrones. This is William Knight from The Naked Time. This is August Goldman as a Founder's Mutation. This is from the X-Files, Series 11 and 12 cards. Another Twin Peaks card, Rando Hadley. I'm going to pull these all out. This is Ray Monroe, also from Twin Peaks. This is a dual autograph card from Nicholas Bain and Ian Hanmore from the Game of Thrones. This is the Spice King and Pyat Pree. Yeah, I love Rittenhouse. They do such a great job. You're almost always guaranteed to get at least an autograph or two in every box. But with Topps or those guys, you never know what you're getting. Topps is horrible. I collect their Star Wars cards, and I have a lot of autographs from them. But there are literally hundreds of people in Star Wars movies, and they really could do 2 or so autographs in each one. So, hey, Mr. Sturgill, how are you? Thank you for dropping by. Just in the middle of opening up some of these lots I won. I won a few Peiceworks cards, which are pieces of the costume put into the card. This is number 372 of 375, so not a bad number. These are from Falling Skies. This is 149 out of 375. That's still not too bad. And 313 out of 375. I think they do these. They do MAC cards like this for WWE and stuff, don't they? Then another couple autographs from the X-Files. This is Alex Denkin. He was also in Supernatural and a whole bunch of other Canadian shows. This is Karin Kaval, also from them. And I have collected some of the. I have most of the WWF and WWE card sets, but I'm like I said, I don't get very good at. Topps has had those for years, and I don't get a very good hit ratio on them. Yeah, but at least you guys are allowed to go to school. I see a lot of kids around here who just do nothing all day except sit on their computers, and it's kind of sad that they don't get to do much. But let's see. This is Oliver Ford Davies, who played Master Kessin in Game of Thrones. This is Jasper Christian. He played Mr. White in The Quantum of Solace from 007. Stan Znar again. This is a different autograph of his from Game of Thrones. Jed Mills, Twin Peaks. Clyde Rudolph from The World Is Never Enough from James Bond. Another Twin Peaks. Joshua Harris. And let's see, this is Azim Villari from the X-Files. Corey Rimple from the X-Files. And Kyle Gilligan from the X-Files. Looks like I got a couple more X-Files in here. John DeSantis as Band-Aid Nose Man. X-Files always had the most descriptive characters. This is Sarah Jeffrey. A.C. Peterson. And last is David Hiddleston as Felix Leitner in License to Kill from James Bond. And Sleeping, he is such a nice guy. I have met William B. Davis several times at different conventions, and he is just such a nice guy, and he plays evil so well. And the worst thing is before the X-Files started, he had stopped smoking and had given it up after years of trying. And he finally got a great part in a recurring role, and he had to start smoking again. But he started smoking the, those kind of natural cigarettes, they call them, that aren't supposed to be as bad for you. Although I don't think that's, a real thing. My dad claimed that too, that they're not that bad for you. So, last box is this big thing, and I kind of have an idea what should be in this one. I want a whole bunch of individual packs, as well as some cards. So let's see. Yeah, that's exactly what's in here. So I got the Charmed, the Power of 3. This was a set that Inkworks did, and so I got a whole bunch of packs of those to open. There are autographs and Peiceworks cards and other cards in here, and it's the classic Charmed, not the new reboot one. I got a box of Journey to the Center of the Earth. That was made by Inkworks as well. Charmed was really great. It kind of like all those WB, CW, Paramount Network, whatever you want to call them. The later the seasons went, they started running out of ideas, because you have great ideas at the beginning and you blow your big bads, like Buffy did, or really like especially Supernatural. I really loved Supernatural, but it really should have ended after season 5. When you defeat the devil, what else is there to do? But go on for another 10 years. I got a box of James Bond, the complete James Bond. These are also done by Rittenhouse. And so I got a grip of these to open up. Destination, which ones are the ones she likes the best? Angel was a great spinoff. It really, really was. They did a great job. Yeah, it's oh yeah, the Charmed, and speaking of Buffy, this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer Connections. So this is another set done by Inkworks. So I got a whole bunch of these packs, and there are autographs in here, and some Peiceworks cards and stuff like that. So Angel is a great show, and it actually, because it stopped after 5 seasons, it actually kind of held its grip pretty well. ATW, how you doing? Another pretty good show for most of the years it ran, Alias. So this is another set by Inkworks. Inkworks was a great company that made a ton of great cards before Rittenhouse came around. And then Inkworks just kind of imploded. They always were a great company. I love all their cards. They did all the Buffy, all the Angel. They did all that kind of stuff. And eventually ended up at Cryptozoic. Jennifer Gardner is most people's favorite. Let's see what else is in here. Voyager. This is the complete Voyager. There's a card for each one. We could be. We're just scattered all over the country. They often say there's clones of you somewhere. So, got these to open, and they've got autograph cards, all the stars signed for these. They were really great. God, I did get a lot of these boxes, I guess. I didn't think I gotten this many. And these, Uh, Heroes, Volume 2. And Heroes was a show that lost its way pretty quickly. I don't think they ever thought it was going to be as popular as it was that first series. The first series was really pretty well done. And then I think they got to a point where they're like, oops. And didn't really know what to do. A couple of the cast members who were really popular weren't actually, contracted to be in the show later. So they really had to work around that. Then, of course, Zachary Quinto became Spock. And so then that messed up the whole thing. But, and another show that did that, John, we really do kind of, Lost went the same way. It really kind of, Lost got lost along the way, right around that writer's strike. And the first 3 seasons did really well, and then stuff started happening, and they really didn't want it to last more than 3 seasons is what they initially said, and then it ended up being 6, and the writer's strike hurt them. Then there was flashbacks, flash forwards, flash sideways. The first show with flash sidewayses, it's something like that. But and it's weird. But have you guys ever seen the San Diego Comic-Con clip they did for the real ending of Lost? They got the guy who played the Black Cloud and Jacob to come back, and it was hilarious. The guy who the I can't remember the character's name, the Black Smoke Man, explains to Jacob that people are going to be pissed, and he's like, "What? That's it? A shining light? Come on, Jacob." I won't spoil the rest of it, but it was hilarious. They shot it just for a 6-minute bit for San Diego Comic-Con a few years ago. Go watch it in between, and it's hilarious. It should have just ended, John, is what it should have done. Although there are, if you have the big box set, the deluxe box set, like I do, there is actually a couple, and I'm sure they've made their way to YouTube by now. There's a couple shorts. One about some people who are working for Dharma who are putting together the pallets of food that they ship out there. And Ben Linus going out and basically firing them and telling them they don't need our help anymore. And then there's another one where they go to visit Walter, the kid, and at the hospital. And of course, he's like 16 now, and they get him and they say, "Hey, your dad says they need your help." And he says, "My dad?" And Ben says, "No, all of them need your help." So it was left an open ending of what actually was the ending of Lost. I'm sure they'll try and reboot that in a few years. They reboot everything. So it looks like the last thing in here is a pack of some autograph cards. And on top is another lovely lady of bench warmer. Oops. But this is part of a project I'm trying to work on. I've got several hundred autograph cards and Peiceworks cards and stuff that I haven't gotten into binders yet. So I'm trying to spread these out. I've got a big table back here that I've started separating all the ones I've already got out so I can make sure they're in my inventory system and then put into the binders so I can actually see what I'm missing. So let's see. What do we got here? It is in fact all bitch warmers except for one. So let's see. Cecilia Gar. I don't know if these are just random models. I'm not sure where these people come from. Yancey Taylor. They're oddly enough just pretty girl cards. Lisa Labos. Sherry Goggin. Actually, I guess I could look up some of them at some point and see if these people actually do anything. Zoe Gregory. And Caitlin O'Connor. And then I got Will Tudor from Game of Thrones. So it's a pretty great haul. Did get quite a few bench warmers cards, but you can't go wrong with pretty girl cards. And lots of Trek and stuff to go along with it. So that's all I've got to open. So now we can just kind of BS or, anybody want to venture how much of the outside world we get to see in WandaVision this week? Yeah, and John, they've been doing these benchwarmer cards for years, probably at least the past 20 years. I know I have a card that's a 20th anniversary one, so it's interesting, but this week's WandaVision is the 80s. Definitely growing pains, or mostly it looks like family ties is what it really is. But now that is her name Vanessa? Now that she's back in the real world, I'm sure she'll start talking to Sword and decide what's going on there. I'm hoping. I think we're going to get a little more, probably about maybe half the episode. Hopefully this is the Halloween episode, I'm hoping. That'll be great. All in the Family, that would be a good one. That'd be late 70s. So they could do an All in the Family, and then the next one would be like Growing Pains or something. That would be cool. I wondered if they were just going to skip, but that makes absolute sense that they do All in the Family, because they can't do Good Times or the Jeffersons. Although Wanda and Vision as Sanford and Son, I would pay to see that. Of course, I would be, because it's on Disney Plus. But that would be very funny, I think. Monica Rambeau, that's right, because she's from Captain Marvel movie. Be interesting to see if they let her have her powers later in this show or not. Mr. Stardial, wouldn't that be cool? I don't know if you watch WandaVision at all, but to see Wanda playing Fred and then Vision being Lamont, that would be hilarious. And then Agatha could be Ann Esther, and oh man, I collected football cards for a lot of years, and there's just so many of them, and people change teams all the time, and and there's lots of them. Just so many. Yeah, you want to know Vision? It's the big one. Ah, no, you big dummy. They definitely couldn't use a whole bunch of the words Sanford and Son used to use, but that would have. Maybe season 2. I would have pitched that at the meeting and then been escorted off the lot, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't, man, if Doctor Strange cameos, because I guess from what little I'm hearing, basically at the end of this, it breaks the Marvel universe into its pieces. That's why it goes the way it goes, and into Spider-Man and all that, as far as the multiverse, and then Doctor Strange is really supposed to go into everything, so it'll be interesting. Yeah, John, he never. Yeah, I like the miniseries idea. I do think that some series go on too long. I don't want 5 seasons of The Mandalorian. I would be happy with 3 seasons, because we're getting all the other shows. I don't need, you know, there doesn't need to be a new episode of Star Wars every week. Um, I kind of think that's what went wrong, and we can get into that a little bit, but um, the I think that's what went wrong with the Disney Star Wars, is they tried to push too much out too fast, and people couldn't follow it who didn't, you know, I have friends who won't watch any Marvel stuff anymore because they've missed several movies and they don't want to have to watch movies to understand what's going on. And I get that. But you didn't really need to watch too much to understand The Force Awakens. And The Force Awakens wasn't a bad movie. Sure, it was basically a reboot of A New Hope, but um, they created some decent characters and then did nothing with them. And then they wanted to force Rey to the forefront when Rey was supposed to be just like Leia, just part of the threesome. Poe wasn't even supposed to be in the second movie. He was supposed to have died in the TIE fighter crash at the beginning of The Force Awakens, which is why he just disappears from the beginning of the movie. And then just, oh, yeah, I ran away and left my droid with the most important information in the universe back there because, I figured, bah, but that would be cool, Liquid. That would be very cool. Um, hmm, that would be cool. But and so and Finn, uh, if you've read some of the EU that came out, it was called Journey to the Force Awakens, and they talk about Finn. It's a book that talks about Finn, Poe, and Rey, and it was written after the movie was shot, but before it came out. But he is actually an incredible warrior. He is the lead stormtrooper of his group. He is one of the training people. He's actually one of Phasma's favorites. He is not a janitor. I don't understand why they made him a janitor. What stormtrooper? What you're a stormtrooper and you're a janitor, and then you go out on missions to commit genocide every so often. Well, I guess somebody has to clean that kind of mess up. But you're obviously not doing that. We see later that droids do all the cleaning. So why would there even be janitors? I don't. Yeah. And then later, on when they get to that castle, that one stormtrooper's like, traitor. Well, how would one stormtrooper know the other at all? Well, the answer is because that guy was in Finn's group and was his sparring partner. And they had kind of like a fight club type thing going around where they would fight against lightsabers and vibro weapons and things like that. That's why Finn could pick up a lightsaber and know how to use it properly, ish, because he'd been trained on that kind of stuff. And so it's odd to me that how the turn they did on Finn's character for Rey to be put forward. And I liked Rey's character in The Force Awakens. She didn't know who she was, really. She was finding her way in the world. And in that book, it talks about how Rey knows how to do all that stuff because the AT-AT she was in had Imperial blueprints and things in it that she studied because she was trying to build a ship to get off Jakku, because who wouldn't? And one of the other things she found was a starship simulator. And she flew. So that's what she did at night, was flew Starship simulators. So that's how she was able to walk onto the Falcon and pretty much know how to fly it within reason, because she'd flown it on simulators for a long time. And the fact that you have to read these books to fill in holes is, I don't like to have to do homework. And I feel like Star Wars in some ways has become homework. Um, you know. Well, and John, yeah, I mean, did was that pushed to the forefront during Aliens with Sigourney Weaver for Sarah Connor in Terminator? Hell, even the McClane's wife in Die Hard, she was a strong, independent woman who took on those guys. And, if as long as you write a story, and that's what the Mandalorian has shown us, what Clone Wars, the television series, showed us. All that stuff can be done behind the scenes, but it doesn't have to be out. And that's how Star Trek used to be. Classic Star Trek was so far ahead of its time, and having multiracial cast, a first interracial kiss, talking about things like war and disease and racial stuff, but it was always done in sci-fi, and it was never beating you on the head. And that's kind of what Star Wars kind of ended up. Every time somebody says Baby Yoda, I'm saying his name is Grogu, which I don't like that name either. But if you guys have seen what Mandalorian is based off of, which is a Japanese movie series, again, I have a brain skip. A Samurai and a Lone Wolf and Cub is what the series is called. And the child is called something along the lines of Grogu. But thanks, Matt, for dropping by. I'm probably going to do a longer. The hunts are just boring these days. There's nothing to buy, so I may start doing little reviews and thoughts on and rants on certain things like that. So look forward to those at some point. All right, later, Downfall. I'll try and catch you on that stream later if you guys are doing it. And now moving forward to The Last Jedi. Mark Hamill tried to warn everybody that they weren't going to like it, and they weren't going to like the way the characters were going. But again, it was one of those weird things where, what was Poe's role in that movie? He just really didn't do anything. None of them did. And then once again, Finn is this, the only way to describe it is steptoe, type character, that he's only there for the laughs. And Finn and why couldn't Finn and Poe go look for the code breaker? Not taking anything away from the Rose character, but why was the Rose character needed? If it was simply added to give another female character a role, okay, but then, give her a role. Her sister was killed at the beginning of the movie. Don't ask about gravity bombs. But we never really hear about her anymore. And, and then the way they treated her in the third movie was just awful. You could have had something better. But I think what really upset the last Jedi was that there was no time jump. So literally the movie takes place right after the next movie. I don't know if anybody's ever really thought about this, but The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi take place over about a week, and that's it. And in Star Wars times, that's you know, that usually we get at least 2 or 3 years. When the EU catches up to The Force Awakens, there's not going to be any stories to tell in between. And so, and we had a ticking time clock. We were told that we had 18 hours before they ran out of fuel, which, why didn't we, you know, uh, and we go right from The Force Awakens. There's basically a 30-year time jump between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. And then it's literally the next day after The Force Awakens that The Last Jedi happens. And there was nothing to, if there had been like a year time gap, you could have said, okay, well, Rey's been training by herself or whatever, and she's been training with Leia and that kind of thing. But without that time jump, then basically we have Rey becoming Super Jedi in about a day and a half, because she wasn't on Ahch-To very long with Luke, just long enough to grab some milk and play in the rain, and then she left the next day. But it's I think that's where the Admiral Hodo. Why do you take an actress as good as her and give her just the most soul-crushing lines, and then Mary Poppins, Leia? Oh my goodness. But yeah, John, and that's, and then that's when we see there's a time jump between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, and we see that Leia has been working on doing some training with her, what little she did. We see that throwback to when Luke was training her and how that didn't work out so hot. But now I wonder when that was, because he's got to go pick up Grogu at some point right around that flashback. So that'd be interesting to see. But, and then killing Admiral Akbar like that, just off screen, and boom, he's gone. Everybody's dead. And Leia, Superman's her way out. It was bad. And the whole casino scene, I watched some making of stuff, and the makeup, the attention to makeup and some CGI, but that was all practical makeup on almost every single one of those aliens, and we never got to see any of them. And they're like, well, you really didn't get to see any of the Cantina aliens either. Well, true, but and that's such the forced stuff with the children and the slavery and the animals and yes, we get it. We've known there's slavery in the Republic and the Empire and the pre-Empire forever. Anakin was a slave. That's just how it works in the Outer Rim sometimes, and there will always be people making money. Who do you think gave the Republic all their war machines? You think that what is it, Interrec? I can't remember who makes X-Wings and stuff. They got paid. The New Republic paid them for those. It's always interesting how when your side's getting weapons, it's okay, but the other side isn't. And and that whole side mission was just a waste. What was the point of Benicio del Toro? What was the point of having him in that movie? He didn't come back. It's just Incom. That's right. That's who makes them. And they've gotten paid forever, and they make good stuff. Some of those X-Wings have been flying for 30 years. But and I can understand if you're somebody in Hollywood and you want to be in a Star Wars movie. Look at Samuel L. Jackson. Now, when she did that hyperdrive, that was heart-crushingly horrible and beautiful to look at, because that broke the Star Wars universe. You just can't do that. And it was so pretty, and ILM did such good work with that. And then in the next movie, they just throw it away. Oh, nope, a 1 in a million shot. Can't ever work again. Another lost opportunity. Speaking of lost, what was that guy doing in Star Wars? You know, yeah, when everything went silent and it just takes out half that ship and like 3 or 4 Star Destroyers behind it, and is like, wow, that was. I would almost get a print of that to put on my wall. It was that beautiful. But who should have been doing that? Admiral Akbar. He should have been sending he should have sent a message to the lead ship, and the lead officer says, we're getting a transmission from the ship. And the commander says, well, what's it say? And it says, all it says is, it's a trap. And then, whoosh, and blows up everything. That would have been great. And see, Sleeping, when George Lucas was making the prequels, and after they were done, one thing he complained about that he didn't realize was happening at the time was nobody was telling him no. He's the boss. And so people were pretty much going along with everything, and he didn't get much pushback. And I think that's what some of these Disney Star Wars movies needed. Now, I really liked Rogue One. I just wish they wouldn't have killed everybody. Palpatine. Palpatine is my favorite character. Every second he's on screen makes me happy because he's a happy guy. He's always laughing. And yes, that was the dumbest thing because they didn't set any of it up. If that was the entire Dark Empire, Dark Horse Comics line with them, but it. Ian McDermott is so good. I can't fault him. Yeah, Sleeping. I do say that a lot of them needed to die, but originally, how the original movie was written was it was more like The Dirty Dozen, where some of them do die, but not all of them die. And so you get, now we're having a prequel series with Cassian, and it's like, okay, his character is okay. Alan Tudyk made, him a better character with KSO, but and now they're talking to Daisy Ridley about coming back. But yes. See, that's Liquid. That's yes. At the instant that happened, I was like, oh, jeez. Now we're gonna get. Why couldn't he do it to Anakin? Well, yeah. Why couldn't Anakin save his mom? Why couldn't Ben step in and save Padme? It's force healing, came out of some of the old EU stuff, and it's of course in every video game because how else are you going to heal yourself? Can't have med packs everywhere. But yeah, Plagueis would have been very cool. I really think that would have been neat. But now we're set up with the question, why? Why Palpatine go through all the process of cloning himself, at least a couple times that we know of, and then that he couldn't do perfection, and then he made a completely different clone and sent them in charge to set up the First Order. That whole movie has so many plot holes, and moving objects through the Force, and just reaching behind you and pulling out a lightsaber. They're not street magicians. They're not going to reach up and pull a quarter out of your ear, But and Plagueis would have been so cool. He could have been from behind the scenes the whole time. But any time I get to see my belly Palpatine on screen, I'm happy. All right, later, Sleeping. Nice talking to you. Anybody want to talk about Han Solo? Another movie that definitely didn't need to be made, but actually, the more I watch it, the more I actually do like it. I don't think that kid captured Harrison Ford well, but I actually like pretty much everybody else in the movie. The plot moves along pretty well. The whole Chewbacca and him meeting is okay, but I have really come to like the Han Solo movie almost as much as I like Rogue Squadron. Um, but the three, I think it'll be an underrated classic when people talk about the saga. Oh yeah, every time I watch that movie, I forget that bit until it shows up, and it's like, what? Solo? What? So we speak Spanish in? Okay, whatever. I how come he doesn't know his name? He knew his dad. His dad worked in the Carillion plants. He talks about him. So how did he not know his dad's name? There weren't nearly as many plot holes, you know, in Han Solo, and I think that's a credit to Ron Howard, who came onto the film and somehow in like 3 weeks reshot a ton of the film and got it back in order. I would like to know what the original scripts looked like for both Han Solo and Rogue One, because there was so much in the Rogue One trailers that was not in the movie, and made it look like they actually might have got out. When they do the Willow series later this year, supposedly, I really hope they get him to come in and do an episode or so, or his daughter. His daughter has done some really good episodes of The Mandalorian. She's a pretty decent director in her own right. Of course, she's watched her dad do it for so many years. But I do think that Han Solo is going to be a good movie. And unfortunately, I think what happened with, and we can pull it back around to toys even, I think what happened with Star Wars and why nobody cared anymore is there was so much stuff dumped so fast. There was new Star Wars stuff, for a completely new movie every 6 or 7 months. No, Warwick Davis is back to be Willow. So they just hadn't decided, they haven't discussed whether Val Kilmer or them will be back. Of course, Val's been fighting throat cancer. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes back or not. But it's supposed to be an 8-episode series, kind of like WandaVision or something, but it's supposed to be an hour long each. As long as they don't use the books that Chris Claremont and Lucas wrote, those were god awful. So, but with the toys, I mean, even when the Rise of Skywalker stuff came up, there was still Rogue One stuff and Han Solo stuff and the last Skywalker stuff, all in this trying to take up the same 4-foot section at Target or an 8-foot section at Walmart or a 24-foot section at Toys R Us. And so if you're the buyer for Target and Rise of Skywalker is coming and you've still got all this other stuff sitting on the shelf, I wouldn't order a ton of it either. That's why there was almost nothing for Rise of Skywalker. And I think one thing that hurt that is they should have made common packaging. I know they were pushing for The Force Awakens and all this is new. What they should have done was went right from The Force Awakens packaging to a vintage style packaging that they're doing now for all the toys and everything, and just changed the name on it every time like we used to. You didn't care if there was Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi figures on the same peg hook because they all looked the same. But when you have, red and black and blue and deep reds and all this trying to take up the same space and it all says Star Wars, I think that's where the merchandising got offhand. Heck, that last week of Toys R Us, they were like 70% off or more. They still had tons of Star Wars stuff from The Force Awakens. And so, I don't know, I think that's my take on most of that. And, Rise of Skywalker was just, I do like my boy Palpatine won. The Palpatines rule. Rey Palpatine, no matter what she wants to call herself, she won. She took Luke's saber. She took Luke's home. She took Luke's standing in the sunrise. She took Luke's theme. She stole everything from the Skywalkers. Take that, Anakin. So the Skywalker line is dead. The Palpatine line, whether or not they want to call themselves that, is still going. But yeah, at least it was better than The Last Jedi. I actually kind of liked the beginning of Rise of Skywalker because it felt more like an older Star Wars movie. Except for the whole, hyperspace jumping. You can't do that. You can't hyperspace jump in an atmosphere. Quit changing the rules of Star Wars. But, they went on a little caper together. There was some banter between them that was pretty good. And then suddenly it was a completely different movie. And, you get all these people. That guy from Lost was on there for no reason. Lando was barely in there. I get that Billy D is old and he can't really walk hardly at all without, canes and stuff. But, then you sent him on. And again, we had a ticking time clock. You had this many hours. As long as you played Fortnite, you knew how much time there was. That was another stupid thing. I understand that it was popular, but why give the beginning of your movie in a game nobody saw? And then the opening credits are like, oh, yeah. Yeah, the dagger's different. And then they go and Goonies it up. As soon as they did that, the people I was with, we're all the same age. We saw Goonies when we were a kid. We were like, really? They're doing the Goonies. That's what we're doing? Sigh. And then she gets her own little, Dagobah evil moment. And, oh, hey, kids, remember the scene in the Emperor's throne room? Well, here you go. All that was so dumb. And, she was raised on a desert planet. How does she know how to work a boat? She can't possibly know how to swim. Remember when she got to the castle planet in the Force Awakens and she was freaked out by the trees and how pretty everything was? But the Force healing and the forced kiss at the end and just sad. And losing Carrie before the movie got shot, that hurt a lot. I know it did, because then they're like, oh man, we killed Luke in the last movie, and now Leia really is dead, and we can't use her the way we wanted, so we have to redo this. And every time they cobbled together pieces of her, it was bad, But anyway, that's my thoughts on the Disney movies. I think they redeemed themselves because they found somebody who cares in Dave Filoni and in Jon Favreau. Both those guys love Star Wars. And Dave Filoni has done nothing for the past 10 years but learn at the feet of George Lucas. If you watch the extra stuff on The Mandalorian Season 1, Jon Favreau talks about him and George Lucas having a discussion about what the final battle in The Phantom Menace meant and why it's called Duel of the Fates. If you have not seen that, it will completely change your view of The Phantom Menace and possibly the prequel trilogy. And it shows that there was more going on behind the scenes. I do like the prequel trilogy because it's the rise of Napoleon. It's the rise of Hitler. How people can get manipulated into following somebody who's slightly charismatic or is working things behind the scenes. And it's the long game, and Palpatine played it through 9 movies. Well, I guess 10 if you count Rogue One and the other. But yeah, I didn't mind the prequels. I know nobody likes Jar Jar, and he got his in the end. That was, I still think, a very mean way to deal with Jar Jar, but that was, a lot of people were happy with that. So, don't look for Jar Jar to show up anywhere. But I don't know. So Yeah. Maybe next time when I'm done with stuff, we can discuss my feelings on the new Star Trek and how JJ went from destroying one universe to another, and why he's allowed to continue making things. He's good at talking people into it, I guess. So, but well, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys so much for those of you who stuck around. Really means a lot. And if you haven't, please like, subscribe, and pass on. John, it was great. If you, me, and Sleepy never got together, I'm sure we would stay up for hours discussing it. And best thing is, we'd all agree. I do not have anything to donate to the channel yet. I have a PayPal account that's just 1000thghost@gmail.com, but I'm not putting any of that out there right now. I might do something once I get a little bigger, maybe 200 or 300. I appreciate it. Yeah, once maybe we can do it with sleeping, because I am not good at this technical stuff. I have a Zoomer coming over to try and help me figure out how to do things a little more properly. I want to do more reaction videos, but I don't know how to set them up properly. So he's going to come over and show me how to do that. And John, once again, once you get your site set up, man, we are there for you. We will be right there to support you every second. So, yeah, we'll have to maybe talk to Sleepy about getting something together with the three of us on one of his podcasts or something, or one of his streams, and kind of just get in. But thank you guys again. Have a wonderful evening. And I think I got 1 or 2 more videos coming out this week. I had a huge pop shipment come in earlier, so I did a video for that. But until then, I'm 1000th Ghost. Thanks for dropping by. Next time, don't forget your death certificate. And John, he's going to be good. I mean, I think I saw last he was at 907, so he'll get to 1,000 quick. So, and I share his stuff all the time. So, thank you guys. Talk to you later.